My best friend used to sleep with my husband and she won't stop talking about it. I never thought I would be in this situation. I never imagined that my best friend would make me feel this way. And I never thought that my past and my present would collide in such a painful way. Before I knew either of them, my best friend and my now husband had a past. They had a relationship. A complicated one. To her, he was one of the greatest loves of her life. To him it was never that deep. Their love story ended long before I even met him. But now, after all these years, their past is making my present unbearable. Let me take you back to the beginning. Over 10 years ago, my best friend and my husband used to be together. They were young, full of passion, and caught up in a whirlwind of emotions. According to her, their breakup shattered her. According to him, it was just another chapter that had to end. Time passed. Life moved on. They went their separate ways. I met him through a mutual friend and we hit it off instantly. But we were just friends at first. I admired him from a distance, never telling him about the crush I had on him. I had no idea about his past with her. I didn't know their history, and I didn't know the weight it carried. At the same time I met her. We weren't close back then, just acquaintances who crossed paths from time to time. Life kept moving forward. Years passed. He got married and moved away. She married someone else. And I also got married. Everything seemed settled. Everything seemed in its right place. Then life happened. My marriage fell apart. His marriage fell apart. And somehow, after all these years, we found each other again. Felt like fate, like two people finding their way back home. We started talking and before I knew it, we were falling in love. This time it wasn't just a crush. It was real, deep, and undeniable. When I told my best friend about us, I expected her to be surprised. I expected her to have some feelings about it. But what I didn't expect was the way she reacted. Instead of wishing me well or offering support, she started telling me everything about their past. And I don't mean just a few details. I mean everything. She told me things that no woman wants to hear about her husband's past. Things that made my stomach turn. Things that made my heart ache. At first, I told myself that she was just processing her emotions. Maybe she needed to let it out. Maybe she needed closure. So I let her talk. I listened even when it hurt. But it didn't stop. Every time we met, every conversation we had, she found a way to bring him up. She would casually mention things from their past, moments they shared, emotions she still carried. It didn't matter where we were or who we were with. She always found a way to remind me that she had been there before me. One time we were at a playdate with some other moms. They were curious about my new relationship, asking me questions about my husband. Before I could even open my mouth, she jumped in and started answering for me. She told them about how she knew him first, how they had a history, how she had loved him. I felt humiliated. I didn't say anything, but inside I was breaking. First I tried to ignore it. I thought that maybe with time she would stop. I thought that if I didn't react, she would move on. But she didn't. It started affecting my marriage. I would come home after seeing her, my heart heavy with emotions I didn't know how to handle. I would look at my husband and feel sick with all the things she had told me. And then the fight started. I would lash out at him, not because of anything he had done, but because of the things she had put in my head. He was patient at first. He reassured me. He held me when I cried. But the more it happened, the more it strained our relationship. I knew I had to do something. I started therapy, hoping to understand why this was affecting me so deeply. I wanted to know why my anger was directed at my husband instead of her. I wanted to find a way to let go of the pain. But it wasn't that simple. Even after therapy, even after understanding my emotions better, she did not stop. So I made a decision. I stopped talking about my husband around her. I avoided the topic altogether. I thought that maybe if I didn't bring him up, she wouldn't either. But she did. She kept finding ways to remind me of their past. Finally had enough. I confronted her. I told her that what she was doing was disrespectful. I told her that it hurt me. I told her that I needed her to stop. She apologized. And for a while things got better. 3 months passed without her bringing him up. I thought that maybe she had finally let go. But I was wrong. Yesterday I was at her house. We were talking about our husbands, just normal conversation, when she brought it up again. This time she said something that made my entire body freeze. I won't repeat the exact words, but it was something incredibly personal about her past with him. Something that I never should have had to hear. Something that made me want to scream. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. After everything, after I had asked her to stop, after she had promised she would, she still did this. I don't know if it's because she truly doesn't respect me, or if she just can't let go of the past. I don't know if I'm overreacting, if I'm just jealous, or if my feelings are completely justified. All I know is that I can't take it anymore. I love my husband. I know he loves me. I know the past is the past, and what matters is our present. But how can I move forward when she keeps dragging me back? How can I continue being friends with someone who doesn't respect my boundaries? How can I keep seeing her, knowing that every conversation could bring another dagger to my heart? I am torn. I don't want to lose a friend. I don't want to create drama. But at the same time, I can't keep putting myself through this. I've spent too long feeling sick, feeling insecure, feeling like my marriage is constantly haunted by her words. It's time for me to make a choice. And I think I already know what I have to do. Some friendships are meant to last a lifetime. Others are meant to teach us something and then fade away. Maybe this is one of those friendships. Maybe it's time to let go.